I didn't break me. This is still me. But, you know, the world broke me. People broke me in their brokenness. But what I've done wrong is be obsessed with that. I'm not sure why I'm smiling. It's a very sad story. But also, in every sad story, there is light. Sometimes you'll have a sweet niece who hands you a rock that says you rock during a panic attack on a mountain. Or you'll have a mom who paints things for you. Or you'll have people go to a thrift store and say that they saw this and it reminded them of you. You'll have a sister-in-law who tells you they think of you every time she sees a rainbow. Or you'll have a friend who's an artist and you surround yourself with his work. Couldn't be more lucky, more blessed inside of all of the brokenness. For the number of people who've crossed my path and affirmed my non-brokenness. That's a sketch I made. It's my favorite snail sketch from a year or a month where I thought I was going to start making snail art all the time. Music video live. I just put up the tree. Didn't put on the ornaments yet, but it seems like the right kind of year to put up a tree a little earlier than usual. I have a sketch in front of me of songs that are going on an album. It hasn't been recorded yet, and it's the first Tiny Traumas album, and it's going to integrate songs from my Chicago days and from Michigan. These songs are going to span like 10 years. This album is far away. I don't know when I'll get to it. I'm working on an album from 2014 right now. Starting to dream about one from 2015. Putting all of these 2016 and later ones on hold for now until I guess catch up or just start going in forwards order again. It's okay if I don't get to it all. That song made me feel sad or just heavy. Maybe I'll play you one off the 2014 album. You can find a rough version, demo version on my Bandcamp. The album is going to be called Everything's True. I might put 2014 in quotes because I feel like the songs are so old now, but it's okay. The whole album is sort of like a love song because I was deciding whether or not I wanted to heal my heart and try again. I'm very glad I did. I have all of this because I took a risk. But the songs in there admit that, the more we love, the more pain that we are vulnerable to. That's what loving is. If you love, you care. And if you care, you can be hurt. So, anyway, this song is called Flying Falling. And I haven't played it in at least a year, maybe 2. I'm looking at a chord sheet that I made for the cellist. So he played cello on this album, but I don't think the version that he played on is up yet. Maybe it is. I don't know. Anyway, that's on Everything's True Part 2, which I just think is funny. So Okay, I'll play one more. And you see this sitting here, and this is one that it's called Hindsight. I wrote it last year, I think last June, right around, I believe, my sister's birthday. Right around my sister visiting me. They took the boat across the lake from Wisconsin to Michigan. Ever since my niece was born, I think I moved to Michigan about 2 years after she was born, and then since then, or since she was 4, I think, when my sister came here with her. There was talk of them sending her over when she turned 8 to, just take the boat over by herself. And then that wasn't the best idea. But she did come over when she was 9, but she came with her mom and her brothers. Anyway, that's unrelated to this song. I don't know what I was feeling during this song, but I know that this was right before I went through that peak experience. Right before the writing retreat in Chicago, where I remembered that I'm actually an introvert, and I had been pushing myself really hard to network socially in the music industry and scene in Michigan. I guess it's not an industry in Michigan. Very few people make money from it, but getting rid of some of the dead parts. No. But, there's a big music scene here. It's huge in Grand Rapids, and I think most places don't have much of a music industry anymore. It's a kind of dying field with Spotify, and people have music streaming for free all day long when they pay $10 to Spotify, and that money just doesn't really go to the artists. Some artists get lucky. They'll be on a playlist and get a check in the mail every month, but most people, it's not much money to be on Spotify. I mean, I'm serious, like $10 a month probably at the most for most people, if that. We don't make money off Spotify, like zero. So, I think I was at burnout point at this point, and I was doing a lot, and I was feeling a lot of energy coming my way, but I wasn't feeling it anymore. Or rather, I was feeling confused, like what was I doing wrong? Other than, that I should have moved to LA when I was 19 or something, and gotten in the right circles. I did move to New York when I was 22, but that was all in a musical theater world. But that concept does work, because then I rubbed elbows with a lot of the right people. And after 1 year of living there, I was being recommended to understudy with the music director on Lion King on Broadway. Someone who really liked me, who I worked for, was going to introduce me to him because she knew him and, get into music directing on Broadway. But that wouldn't have made me happy. I know from how I reacted to tons of other things that I would have had a similar experience to that but my real self, my songwriter self. So I had any successes that I had that weren't what I felt was moving the most in me, which was this private inner singer-songwriter world. It was private back then. The whole 2 years I lived in New York, I didn't go to a single open mic. I didn't play shows. I wrote musicals they were assigned. Like I didn't, my authentic self, the best I ever did with that was I bought a mini disc recorder and I rented out the little black box space and a piano, and I recorded a couple of my originals, but I never shared them with anybody. I just recorded them for myself. It's really weird. I have this whole 7-year gap where I wouldn't play at a coffee shop at my college either. I just hid it all. Very, very insecure back then. Actually, I take it back. I was very confident in my own songwriting, but I was too affected by the world. So if I shared a song with you and you told me that you didn't want to hear it or you just didn't really like it or whatever, no one was ever mean, but, yeah, I was very affected by people not liking them as much as I liked them. And now, obviously, I'm okay with it because I leave thousands of songs all over the internet, and if only 10 people at any given time are that into them, then that's my reality, and I understand that it's not something I'm in control of, and I don't let it be a thing that makes me like the songs any less anymore. I just it's like gardening. This is like a YouTube channel where you're watching me garden. Why should you be as into it as I am? I don't know. I'm into it because I get to have the experience of the music flowing through me. I don't know why I'm quite so soft-spoken today. Probably because Brian's upstairs and relaxing, and I just had a nice meal. Made homemade chili. Made him lunch too. Having a little half a glass of wine. Gentle Friday evening. Alright, I don't really remember how this one goes, but let's try it. Okay, Hindsight, that's what it's called. charts. I don't know if you can really see that or read that or anything, but that's what I was looking at. And kind of, these are scale degree numbers. I don't know if you know about that, but 1, 3, 7, 5, 4, 5, 3 on an E minor chord. So you would be like, E would be 1, and then there's 3, and there's 7, there's 5, 4, 5, 3. So that's my note-taking conservatory days, and then some basic chords to kind of jog my memory, but, and then that's the other one that I was playing off of, Full of Beauty. Or no, wait, that's a different one. I love playing that one on ukulele. This is what I'm playing off of, Flying Falling. Yeah, well, here's my life. Thanks for being here. Oops, trying to learn to care for my old songs, not just always make new ones. It feels good to do. It does. Going between plants. I hope you find time to create and make and play music you love, or write songs you love, or paint paintings, or draw drawings, or doodle doodles, or, paint rocks like my sweet mama. There's so many things you can do. There doesn't really need to be a reason to do any of them. You just kind of follow your inner flow, your little compass of interests and love. And you just kind of do things. It's fun. It's a way to pass the time, and it's a way to feel your own heart like a map. It's a way to feel what you love, the same way we spend time with people we love or pets we love. You can spend time with music you love. You can spend time with projects you love and colors you love. If you love markers, you can spend time with things you love. It's just like a way to feel love for things, which is like a way of feeling love for yourself. Kind of comes back to yourself, which is why I journal so much, because I think journaling is I love words, and I don't always have people to talk to or people who are interested in the amount of words that I use on the types of topics that I would always talk about, like existential stuff or spiritual stuff or emotional stuff, So, and I like analyzing emotional stuff, but I don't like having conflict, like that's very traumatic for me. I end up crying a lot. But that's not bad always for me. But if I sense that it is for you, then that can be pretty intense for me. And then I often block myself and don't feel when I'm in your presence. And I don't know. The world is crazy. Very grateful for my own personal peacetime right now. We're in the middle of a global pandemic, and people are having very hard times. And I have no bigger problems than what to do with a Friday evening. My boyfriend worked all day. Fridays are my day off, or my first day off. And I always have work I can get done for my business or for other things, but yeah, it's never a real problem to figure out how to fill a day or to have to clean your house. Those aren't real problems. Those are opportunities. We're blessed to have a house, to have stuff to care for, to decide what to do with, It's like, bless this mess. It's like that saying, but it's like the mess blesses you, It's a life. It's a life of things you've collected that you love, or things that you don't love that no longer serve you, that you could devote an evening to making into a project instead of watching Netflix. That's a note to self. And go through all this stuff that you have and just be like, oh, I don't know why I even have this. I haven't looked at it in 5 years. Ditch, throw away, give to charity, Those are activities that we can do. So your stuff isn't a problem. Your free time isn't a problem. Even your busyness probably isn't a problem if it's tolerable, because we all fill up our lives with different amounts of busyness to manage ourselves, manage our emotional, mental, spiritual, physical selves. I've tried to learn to look at both excessive busyness and vast expanses of free time as like either a gift or a blessing or just like what I needed at that time for what I was going through. So I hope you can find ways to understand your life and why your life is what your life needs to be right now. And that's what I'm trying to do anyway. All right, bye. Oh, here's my bracelet. Josiah had to remake it for me because the beads were falling apart, and it's made out of pipe cleaner. Thanks, Josiah.